What's
up?
up? I'm Alicia.
I'm Jamie.
And we are
the Shootas.
Calling Jimmy John's got them shooters gonna deliver.
Period.
Welcome back.
Oh, thanks.
This episode is all things. All my grandma's dead, so ain't nobody praying for me. I'm on your head. All things K-Dot. Quick fit check. What are you wearing?
Oh, the illustrious Clark, Atlanta. Clark, Atlanta. Period.
She's wearing a Clark Atlanta hoodie. We both went to Clark Atlanta, graduated from Clark Atlanta. I am wearing another HBCU. I went to Clark Atlanta, but my parents met and fell in love at Morris College. So without this illustrious HBCU, I might not be here today to tell y'all what's going on. So
we love a Morris.
Gotta rep it. Anyway, we saw it fitting to wear all things Black culture because that's what we're celebrating today. So we're getting into all things Kendrick Lamar in the last 2 or 3 weeks. We're gonna start with someone to get the broom out. Kendrick swept the Grammys. Okay. Kendrick Lamar earned 5 Grammys 2025, and they were all for the song Not Like Us.
It's crazy.
He won Best Music Video, Best Rap Performance, Best Rap Song, Song of the Year, Record of the Year.
Wow.
So, just because, like, my mom was like, what in the world is the difference between song and record of the year? The record is, like, the production of the song, and the output, like, what comes to our ears. Song of the Year is like the songwriter.
So DJ Mustard and Kendrick.
Well, record of the year would DJ Mustard get a Grammy for that, yes. Mm-hmm. Songwriter is all Kendrick. Mind you, this was just a very Black Grammys because we were pretty sure he was going to win Best Rap Song of the Year, but Song of the Year and Record of the Year are those all-encompassing genres that anybody could have won. There were several people up for it who are amazing artists as well. Many of them palm-colored artists, but Kendrick won it. The other big category, Album of the Year, was also won by a Black person, Beyonce. So it was just a very Black Grammys, and I'm here for it. Before we really get into Kendrick, I just want to say this so it can forever and consistently be broke.
Let me break it down so it can forever and consistently be broke.
Okay. Not too much on Beyonce.
Never too much on me.
Okay. People have been saying she was fake surprised. I think she was truly surprised personally. People have been saying that Jay-Z bought the Grammys for her, all this different stuff. My thing is,
why would anybody do that for our Black league?
My thing is, in Black culture,
it's not like us to be favored. That's what I would say. Go ahead, though.
In Black culture, a rap battle kind of overshadowed Cowboy Carter a little bit. I can speak that for myself. When it first came out and the songs were coming out, I was listening, and I loved the album personally. But everybody know what happened at the end of March. This rap beef kind of took over music for Black culture in 2024. So just because you as an individual may not have gave it that many listens doesn't make it not great. People loved Cowboy Carter. I loved Cowboy Carter. I just really didn't listen to much outside of rap this year for obvious reasons. I think it was very deserving of a Grammy.
I would just say, when in the world in history where a white man sets the rules, has anybody ever just let us just be given anything? I don't understand that.
Well, last year, Jay-Z said what he had to say. And people feel like because he put the Grammys on the spot at the Grammys, she had to win. And to that, I say, number one, it was a great album. And number two, if, and it's a very big if, other artists were like slighted this year, that has happened to several people in the past. I'm not going to speak on who won against Lemonade the year that Lemonade did not win Album of the Year, because the album that won, I loved it too.
Lemonade was amazing though.
But in my humble opinion, nobody should have beat Beyonce that year.
Lemonade was amazing.
So I'm just gonna say, if
the visuals were amazing,
if something was a little whatever, to that I say okay, because
we can get one.
Beyonce has come out with several amazing albums that did not win Album of the Year. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't have time to be arguing with people about what she did or did not deserve, but she can get one off if that's the case, number one. Number two, the people she was going against for the most part are more so in their 20s. Beyonce is 40-something years old. Beyonce won her first album of the year at 43 years old. Those other individuals have a long career ahead of them and many years to win album of the year, right? So let's just not take away from someone else's moment because we are upset. And And okay, the other thing that I did want to say, I have recently, I don't know why this has come into my algorithm, but I have recently been seeing these videos of the making of whips, what they're made of, how powerful they are, what they really look like.
Whips?
Whips. As in what our ancestors were abused with. And so that stuff don't sit right with me. And so what I have to say to everybody who is having a hard time coping with the fact that a black person may have got a little one up this year about a Grammy,
Kid Rocks.
we deserve it, okay?
Why is that going around?
Different topic for another day. What did that lady say? They lucky that black people are looking for what and not what?
Equality and not revenge.
That's what I have to say to that. If Beyonce got any type of boost in this, which I don't think she did, if she did, then I'm going to say that it's not the first time it's happened in Grammy history. And if she didn't, then it has never happened in Grammy history. Let's just leave it there.
I never understood when it was us. It's like, why are we in the streets talking bad about it?
And I feel like you didn't win one this year. Y'all know how many Beyonce didn't win? Like, she has the most Grammys ever, and it's because her talent is undeniable. So you had to give her something somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But those major categories, and that's why the Grammys was so black this year. Record of the year, song of the year, album of the year are the three categories that have white, black, whoever. Black people won all three. I don't care.
That's a win for us.
Kendrick Lamar, he went on stage for 2 Grammys that he won. His first speech was when he won Record of the Year, and it was a real cool, calm, collected speech. He thanked God. He acknowledged his aunt that had just passed away, and he dedicated the award to his city. Of course, his city is going through a lot right now, and of course, he never not reps his city. So I thought it was a nice speech.
Agreed. And he was so cute. Love the drip.
To that point, it is killing me how people are on this internet here talking about how Kendrick Lamar is so pooky. Y'all gotta stop. This is a grown
man now.
and he is literally the boogeyman. That be cracking me up.
Pookie is funny.
He do be looking a little adorable.
I mean, he look
And his
sweet.
smile just looks like he has no malice.
However, when he chooses to smile, it's very like, it's very Kendrick up to the top.
Yeah, he definitely just looks like he just don't have a mean bone in his body.
Mm-hmm.
But
I will say I didn't know nothing about no Canadian tuxedo.
oh yeah, cute.
I knew about denim on denim. Didn't know there were undertones.
His second speech had a little more in it. He brought out Soundwave. He did a little speech. Mustard, of course. And he brought out Dave Free, of course. Dave Free elected not to speak, but everybody else did. And it was a cute look. It was a black moment. And I love whenever black artists get on the Grammy stage and just do something that's just like black. We could even talk about Doechie's speech. I loved it. And Beyonce's. Shout out to Doechii. And Beyonce's speech. It was she's very practiced. So she's, professional. But she did in her own way say, let's keep opening the door. Let's keep making space. Let this not be the last black person to win album of the year. So I loved it. He definitely said that rap music is more powerful than anything. I thought that was a powerful statement to say on a stage like the Grammys, just like when Andre 3000 went on stage and said the South got something to say.
I'm tired of folks, you know what I'm saying? Closed-minded folks, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got a demo tape and don't nobody want to hear it, but it's like this, the South got something to say. That's all I got to say.
6 words that really shook the industry up. People didn't really appreciate it at first, but the South is very grateful now because Atlanta is very big in the hip-hop scene, right? Just a few words that I just feel like they're powerful. It's a brave move to get on a stage like that and say there's nothing more powerful than rap music. I don't care what it is. When you have all these genres out here looking at you. I thought that was really nice. I loved how he shouted out everybody in Black Hippie. He shouted out some West Coast OGs in rap like Glasses Malone. He shouted out Daylight, just people we know. I thought that was beautiful, so I loved it. I just loved Grammy night.
I would echo that too. That is nothing more powerful than rap, which just is another reason why I just love Kendrick like I do at this point, because that power working either way. We say this in the mental health field, like when you learn all the skills to be a counselor, you can use your power for good or you can use it for evil. Like having conversations with friends and family members, etc. You can more or less, you can give people the freedom to like be themselves too. Like I think counselors are trained to dig and to get under things. Sometimes people don't want that. Like in your relationships, they may not want that. You're not their therapist, you're a friend, or you're not the therapist, you're a sister etc., etc. Point being how that relates to rap or how that relates to hip hop. The power goes either way. It's powerful. So you can move people to do one thing or another. And I'm just very excited to be on the Kendrick team at this point because I like how he uses the influence to move people.
Right.
I'm very proud of him. Very proud of the culture.
Now, another point that I guess we can mention, just because other people have mentioned it and because we did a 2-part series on the lawsuit, the CEO of UMG high-fived
He was outside.
Dr. Dre when Kendrick won either song or record of the year, and people were trying to say that just means everybody's in cahoots. To that, I just say there were several artists of his, UMG artists, at the Grammys. I don't think it's far-fetched or crazy or convoluted to be happy that one of your artists won a big award.
It's a win for you too.
It's just a win for you too. And so that's all I have to say to that. And now we can move on to the exciting stuff. The Super Bowl. Let's start with pre-Super Bowl. So the first thing that came out pre-Super Bowl was the Apple Music interview with Ebro and Nadeska. And
Good.
I loved it. So I'm going to let Shu give her thoughts on it.
Yeah, so I was super inspired by the interview as an artist, as a woman of the culture. I feel like every time K-Dot open his mouth, there are gems.
Kendrick just open his mouth. Someone gonna give him my Grammy right now.
I know that's right, 5. Give him 5. But no, I was just super inspired. Some of the stuff that stood out to me, just one, respecting the art form, hearing the passion. Even I feel like he just had such a reserved, like just humble nature. It was like he kind of revered himself, you know, as a man. He know he that dude, but he's a man, and it's just like I love that. I love him being human. I love him being inspiring to the young people that was in the audience, and I loved just the encouragement, like I said, from me to be in the present, not be so worried about what the Lord doing in the future that I can't create right now. That was one of the biggest takeaways as a creator that I felt like I kind of clung to. Not even so much so looking at the past. Like if I've created from some of the stuff that I've experienced in my past, and that's fine. And now in this season, it's like I'm only looking at that long enough to stay humble. I'm trying to remember the Lord, how He's been faithful over the years. But to create right now, to be in and now, I want to feel what I'm feeling right now. I want to show up right now. And that really moved me too. Thought he was super grounded to be about to step onto one of the biggest platforms that I feel like a performer can touch. The Super Bowl is a worldwide thing. Like
it's the biggest stage.
Folks tuned in, you know. It just felt like he was him. And I truly, and we talked about this in one of our other videos, but I'm so for the message of individuality and just the strength in that, the beauty in that, because I feel like comparison is a devourer. The spirit of comparison is a devourer. I feel like there are so many of us adults and those younger. I think about my kids a lot. I'm a dance coach right now, so we're just attached to a lot of children in our lives. And they struggle so much with feeling brave enough, confident enough to be who they are. But you don't get that when you listen to a leader like K-Dot. Like, I'm me. I never lost who I was for a rap image. And it's like, that's why I want his voice to be loud. I do, because he's at least one person who is holding on to some sense of integrity, some sense of morality. What society says is acceptable and even remarkable in a sense. I mean, what the world praises does not have to be what it is. What the world praises is oftentimes not what the Lord is praising. That's one thing, and that's the base for my morality. But the other part of it is what the world praises is just not always good. It's not good. It's not healthy. It's not safe. It doesn't give people permission to figure out who they are for themselves. I was very much excited just to hear that piece too, carving out his voice and his sound and how that took time. And that being like a part of the encouragement he was giving to the younger kids. It was just, I was moved. But y'all know I'm becoming a K-Dot stan, so.
And I love that.
This girl. I was listening to him anyways because she always do the outs. She never let me play.
The thing is, and I want that narrative to stop because I meant to edit it out the last time and I didn't.
You was going. I would get in the car and play the music nobody wanted to hear. So.
That's not true. I like your music.
Girl, nobody ever gave me the outs. Tell the truth.
I'm going to just say, it's not that people don't let Alicia do the outs. It's because she has this thing in her head that you heard what she said the last time about people don't let her have the aux. So when she with her brother, she doesn't ask for it. There has never in life been a time when she said, let me do the music. And I say, no. So don't say I don't let you have the aux. I be knowing what I want to hear. So I make the way to hear it. Do you do that when we together?
What you thought about the interview?
I'm keeping this in there because I meant to say it last time.
Fine.
She say people don't let her have the aux.
I would actually say, though, that my brothers do not be wanting to hear what I got to say.
I don't believe that.
Okay, don't believe
I don't believe it. I believe me and her brothers, if she asked for the aux, if she wanted it, nobody would have a problem with that. I am very like...
I distinctly remember a few times being on the speaker and my brother Al, and I get him this too. I really just be talking trash, but
and I'm not gonna let her just sit up here and try to do the most when they not in here to defend themselves. But go. And
they would be so sad if they felt like I feel like that. I got sweet brothers, but no. The point is, Shoota and Al, my younger brother, Adam is really they all got their own interests, but Al is like before he even get in the car, good. Before he drive off, he's plugging his phone up. He picking a move for the ride, even if he's going down the road. Shoota is just like that.
I need music in the car.
Right. And so I think he likes running the aux. So can you say that you like running the aux? Let's just be...
No. Don't say because you said that last time. Be honest. And I didn't say
anything. Let's just be direct, though.
Being direct, and this has nothing to do with the video.
Keep it a buck.
Keeping it a buck. I'm not going to phrase it as I like running the aux. But when it comes to the things that I like, I'm confident in those things. I know what I like. So if we get in the car, I love music in the car. I know what I like to listen to. Mm-hmm. So if ain't nobody else touching it, I'm going to turn on what I want to hear.
And y'all hear me say this too. I love that about my Shoota. It takes the pressure off of me. The other thing I was going to say, just to shout my brothers out, like each one of them has a playlist that's just for me, for stuff that they think that I like. And that most of the time they be dead on. They listen to things that they feel like I would like. And then when I get in the car, they play stuff for me. So I really love it. I love being loved like that. Point is, I would say that I've learned about myself that I'm just an emotionally driven person. So when I feel anything, I want to ride that out. And a lot of times where I be, it don't be where other folks be at. A lot of times my music really do just be for my mood because my playlist kind of match my mood. It's like me going deeper into whatever I'm feeling in that time. And yeah, it really don't really be for other people. It be me getting out what I'm getting out. But
and as a flip to that, I more so select the music based on how I want to feel.
That's good. What's your thoughts on the interview?
My thoughts on the interview, I just thought, to add on what Shoota said, I thought the whole thing spoke to his consistency. I spoke about that a lot in episode 1 and 2. I'm a long-standing Kendrick Lamar fan. And a fun fact about me, whenever I become a fan of a person, I deep dive into whoever they are. I want to hear you speak. I want to know your thoughts about things. Mm-hmm. Anybody that I love a lot, I've listened to, if not all of their interviews, a lot of them. So at the time that my brother put me onto Kendrick Lamar, maybe 10th grade, I got into his interviews on YouTube and I've been following him ever since. So I have a lot of prior knowledge when it comes to just how he speaks about different topics. And this interview spoke to his consistency, in my opinion. Several people, and I'm not going to name these people because videos have been getting flagged for saying their names, so I'm not going to say certain names in our videos anymore, but people have been saying things like he didn't keep the same energy in the interview that he did in the battle. People have been saying that he is fake because he switched up in the interview. And that's just inaccurate. And it's like, if you're going to speak about things, because I do believe everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I'm also a person who believes that the truth is absolute. So your opinion is your opinion, but base it off of facts. And the facts are that Kendrick has never been a rah-rah person in his interviews. The truth is that he always says what he says in a very cool, calm and collected way. He pauses a lot because he tries to collect his thoughts. He thinks about what he says before he says it. He tries to get the message out the way he intends it the first time. So he doesn't talk a lot, ever. He never has. People know he had a stuttering problem as a child. Sometimes he does that, but he really does try to pause, and get it out.
That's good.
And so I felt like he did the same thing in this interview. His message is the same as it always has been. When they asked him the questions about, and people were trying to say that Ebro and Nadeska did not ask him beef-related questions. What they didn't do was say Aubrey's name. But Ebro said in the interview, he mentioned the last year that he's had, and he said that Kendrick drew a line in the sand this year. If you are not, I don't even feel like you have to be an intellectual to understand that he was saying, you put it out there this year. You said, it's y'all against me, and I'm the culture. That was the question. The question was about the beef. And what Kendrick said at that time, and what he said throughout the whole interview, even when they asked him the first question about how is this all this new attention feeling to you, he said, it's honestly, I've just been being who I have been. Like, I just been doing the thing. And he said, not to be cliche, but it's always worked for me. And I believe, he is where he is today. He's just always done him. And whatever comes after that is whatever it is. When Ebro asked him about this last year that he's had and really drawing a line in the sand as far as rap and beef is concerned, his response to that was, I initially was thinking about and operating off of the sport of it all, competition. He was saying that nowadays people are very collaborative when it comes to rap, and that's okay, but it's always been a sport. He loves when rappers grit their teeth. Then he went into talking about how he still listens to battle rap to this day, and he mentioned Daylight. So what he was saying there, he's answering the question. He's not switching up. What he's saying is, I'm a rapper, I'm of the culture, I'm a hip-hop artist, I'm a student of this thing, and this thing is a sport. It is competitive. So me saying F the big three is just big me is competitive. Me responding to the other artists' songs was competitive. Now, I told him a certain thing. You take it there, I take it further. And he did take it further, but that the baseline of this thing is competitive. I don't go to sleep thinking about my rap opponent. It's a sport. And he's always said that.
I realized, okay, it has been 10, 15 years before, it's been some type of shaking up in the game. You know what I mean? I think hip hop is a sport, so you're gonna have these little spits and spats, and it's all good because personally I respect these dudes as as people. And
so I think that his message has always been consistent. I think that his delivery was very polished, and I feel like that's kind of rule number one in Black households. Like, you be who you are. My parents always told me to be me. My parents always told me to stand up for myself in any situation. But my parents have always told me to act like I got some sense. I don't have to get on the stage doing rah-rah stuff to be who I am. I have a father who gets his point across with 2 words and a calm tone. I don't have a rah-rah type of daddy. When he speak, you feel him. You don't have to do the most to say what you have to say. You don't have to do the most to stand on business. He didn't switch up in the interview, and I did not like that narrative at all. I felt that it was consistent with who he's always been.
Equivalent to a parent giving a look and to sit your butt down somewhere. Like,
what else is consistent is that Kendrick has always, he leaves everything on the track. When we get all those different voices, I was just listening to Pimp a Butterfly, the song You, where he's basically drunk. Like, all of that, you're never gonna hear Kendrick talk like that in no interview. He leave it on the track. Those feelings that he feels in the studio at that time, he leaves it on the track. And that's where you get that stuff. He's not gonna crash out in the interview. He crash out on the track. And why not?
That's really wise.
I
just think it's just very good for etiquette when you're a celebrity.
Yeah, say what you gotta
be
say.
on live stream like a certain person who shall not be named, screaming and cussing people out.
Exactly.
It's lack of wisdom.
Like, you're not famous. Kendrick is not famous for his interviews. He's famous for his music. So continue to put the spotlight on that. And in your interviews, be Kendrick Lamar Duckworth. That's what I felt about that.
Mr. Duckworth.
Right. I thought it was a great interview.
It was a great interview.
Next, his interviews with Timothy Chalamet, I think.
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka.
His interviews with Timothy Chalamet, I will say, when it was announced, I think Dave Free posted it, that he was going to have an interview the day after the Ebro and Nadeska interview. I was so hyped. I woke up, turned on my TV. It was 3 minutes, girl.
It was 3 minutes.
But it was good. I saw people had a problem with why was it Timothy Chalamet. I thought that was a good move by the NFL. First of all, Timothy is a fan. Second of all, Timothy is up and coming. Like, he's a big deal in film right now. He's like, his face on the Super Bowl halftime show is gonna bring in different eyes that weren't already going to be there, right? People who are fans of him, listening to how much of a fan of this halftime performer he is, that might make people who are fans of Timothy, never heard of a Kendrick Lamar, say, let me tune in. And we saw
what happened.
Right.
We get into them numbers.
I thought that was smart. Some things in the interview that were really cool to me when he said keep the pen working.
Keeping the pen moving for sure. It's like being with writer's block or being stale for a certain amount of time. Honestly, I feel that. But again, he said so many things that spoke to me as an artist. You can wait on inspiration or you can work to find it wherever you are. And I think what he said specifically was that he and his friends who also rap, I think people in Black Hippie Crew, they would keep the pen working or keep the pen moving by writing 16 bars every time they came in the studio.
At least, yeah. And
it's just like, bro, it's a reminder. One, to be in the present. It was a reminder to be in the present because it makes your muscles work for right then, right there. Even if you feeling nonchalant in that day, write that. Write about it. It could be great. It could be trash. I was about to say it could be piss poor. But you kept the muscles moving. You kept the pen moving. And that keeps the gift sharp. And when he talked about the art form, he talked about it in this interview too, but he talked about it the last interview as well. It's a difference in treating your pen or treating your craft like it's a hobby and then revering it as an art form. Like, I'm showing up, period, regardless. And I just love that discipline. He just deserves respect because he don't play about it. This a gift that I got. This influence I don't take for granted. And this what I mean, don't take it for granted. And somebody like me, who is a creative, needs to hear that. Like, I can go harder. I can do more to protect and respect the gift. Keep the pen moving. It was powerful. I feel like he said a lot of very heavy stuff.
A lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking on the staying present part, after the Ebro and the Disket interview, I definitely said I got my whole set list wrong. Because he kept saying
it's hard for him to go in the past.
It's hard for him to go in the past, and he's just really into being present. He doubled down on that in the first Timothy interview. Mm-hmm. I was like, I got it wrong. This is a Gen X halftime show.
It reminds me of this ain't no black show, but I like Outlander. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene in there where one of the guys who was in the main character's crew, he's Asian and he is a poet, and he didn't really say too much to the crew, but they were getting real worked up on the sea and like kind of warring against each other because there wasn't no movement. They had got stuck, no wind to move the ship. And he had told the main character in a scene prior, like, once you tell your story, he was talking about writing it in poetry. Once you tell your story in poetry, you don't say it no more. Like, once you say it, it's out there and it's done. And I kind of felt that even when he said it. It was like, I born that. Like, it's up off me. I wrote that, it's in a book. Or I wrote that, it's on an album. And it's like, let it live, let it breathe. But I felt like Kendrick was kind of like speaking to the same. Like, I did that. I felt that. And even how you talk about it with all of the characters that he present in his music and all the things, like, I put everything that I felt about this thing that I was carrying in that time on the track. It frees me up to be present. That's why somebody can get on the stage like the Grammys and say there ain't nothing more powerful than rap. Somebody like him can get on there and say that. I gave you my pain. I gave you my hurt. I gave you my anger. I gave you all these things that were driving me. I made art out of it, or the Lord made art out of it, put it out there. That's an exhale. I gotta be present now because I've given that. I've given that up. So I was like, yes. I was sitting in him. Yeah, that's it. Clock it. Ooh, lit.
Another thing I love that he said, especially after you have kids, like he was like, I can't necessarily fake the funk about nothing no more ever. I love that because I thought
he got kids.
He was saying that he's always had a form of just being true to who he is unapologetically, but after he had kids, it's like, I have absolutely no reason to fake the funk. Like, my kids is watching me. Every time I get on the TV, I got to be who I am.
I literally we was just talking about this earlier. Like, what that children learn from what they see.
Yeah.
If you want your child to be authentic, be authentic. You want your child to exist boldly. Exist boldly.
Yeah.
Be what you want them to be.
I don't have time to be being somebody that I don't want them to grow up to be. Like, aspire to be like. I gotta be me. I gotta be who I am. And all of that is being consistent. All of that is standing on business. He wasn't faking that interview at all. He just wasn't up here. What top 5 are you smoking on, Kendrick? If you know, you know. I thought that Timothy rapping the heart part 2 was crazy. It made me end up going back to listen to it. And I had rated the hearts recently. And I didn't go back to listen to them. I just did it off of memory. But the heart part 2 is so good. OMG. So thank you, Timothy, for that. He also played Cushion Corinthians for Kendrick, and Kendrick had told him, just like he was saying Man at the Garden was the one record that he wanted everybody to hear from GNX, Cushion Corinthians was the one he wanted everybody to hear from Section 80. And I thought that was great because I love Cushion Corinthians. So now we're getting into the actual Super Bowl. Let's start with the leak. I said I didn't want to say this person's name in the video, so I'm not. But if you know who leaked the set list. He said he got it from someone who was working at the stadium where the Super Bowl was held. Personally, I felt like the leak was lame.
It was so lame. It was so undercut. It was so crab mentality. Y'all know what crab mentality is? Like when you put crabs in a bucket that's live and they try to crawl out the bucket. A crab in the bottom will grab that crab that was getting out at the top and try to snatch him back down. Folks be saying that about us within the culture because some of us don't like to see others within the culture doing well. Why would you leak that man's show? Other than just because you a crab? Has that ever been done before?
To my knowledge, no show has ever been leaked.
I mean, then not only that, you willing to sacrifice somebody who called themselves a fan of you so you can have one little moment of what? Of get back for what? That man ain't done nothing to you.
I hated it.
And it was not for the culture.
And honestly, I was very happy to see several just black people saying, even people who are not Kendrick fans on Twitter were like, I am not playing this audio. Like, I don't want to. Because
don't take it away from people.
I really hated that a lot, y'all. And it annoyed me more because I follow so many hip-hop related people on Twitter, on X. So the set list kept showing up on my timeline every time I open the app. And it's like, I don't want to see it. I want the shock value. And let's be clear, we're going to get to the numbers later. Leaking it did nothing.
Did nothing. Not a thing.
Everybody wanted to see it still. But
it just goes to show the difference between some people who get a little bit of power and what they do with it, and other people, like K-Dot, who have a lot of power and what they do with it.
And the guy who leaked it said that he leaked it because he was hoping that it would make Kendrick change his set list.
You thought you could influence...
Because the set list was trash, and we'll get to that for the record. But anyway,
really?
We'll get to people's reactions a little later in the video. But let's start with our own reactions.
Okay, 10 out of 10 for the performance, for the production. Now, I do want to take away somebody's points, and it's not Kendrick's, because I could not hear him. I realized that was a thing across other platforms. People were saying, like, I thought his mic was low. I think I even said that in my recording the reaction video. I'm like, turn his mic up. But what he put together, what PG Lane put, it was chef's kiss. It was chef's kiss. Argue with your mama.
Not me.
I'm just very much, like, I'm here.
We is kinfolk.
Nah, the production, 10 out of 10 for the performance. Off top, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Right after the performance, Shooter FaceTimed me. Her brother asked me what I thought about it. Out of 10, I said a 12.
She did.
I loved it, y'all. I loved every second of it. And I loved it before. I'll be honest, Shooter had asked me if I felt like the mic was low. And I said, no, I heard it. The truth is,
if it was actually low.
If it was actually low, but every song that came on, me and my brother watched it together. We was just like, hey! Shoo! Mind you, I watched it back again, and when Euphoria came on, he didn't even say the shoo part, but I know I was saying it. So I was in it. I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan, and when it comes to people I'm just a straight up fan of, I'll say before the beef, the people that I could say I'm just like a fan when they come out, when they drop, I'm listening. Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, as far as people who drop right now. Of course, if Andre 3000 dropped today, I would stop everything I'm doing. If Jay-Z came out with an album, I would stop everything I'm doing. Nas, the same thing. But people that drop pretty regularly, well, Kendrick don't drop regularly. What? You know what I mean. You know Kendrick's gonna do something. Those are the people who like, I'm gonna listen when it come out. And so to get a person who I love like that to perform at the Super Bowl, I knew I was gonna be here for it. And I loved it. 12 out of 10.
It was so good.
It was really good. And we're gonna get into all the reasons why.
I'm very much a fan of the story.
Let's say that to be a Kendrick fan is to meet him where he is in the moment. To be a Kendrick fan is to sit and understand the message he's trying to tell you in that moment. No Kendrick album is the same. From Overly Dedicated to GNX, they're all very different pieces of work, bodies of work. Good Kid, Mad City, his first big album that popped off. And then To Pimp a Butterfly came after that. People didn't understand what was going on. It's like a rap album, rap. Told a story, but it was like, you know, easily digestible on the surface, but still stuff to dig into. To Pimp a Butterfly was a little more, he used different type of soulful beats. It was just different. And it took a little minute for that one to age. Now people say it's a classic. People didn't say that when it first dropped. Like when Good Kid, Mad City dropped, everybody was like, he's it. People didn't really say that when To Pimp a Butterfly dropped, but now people is like, this is the best album ever. I think that's going to happen with Mr. Morale and the Bed Steppers because people not really on it right now. I think in years to come, that's going to be an album you look at and you're like, we needed that. Go to therapy. You know? But so said that to say, being a Kendrick Lamar fan is to see what he's doing in the moment, meet him where he is with that, and understand that it's not to say what you wish would happen, for the record. Because he could just, and I said it in our prediction video, Kendrick Lamar can do anything. He could just do anything. He doesn't have one album that sounds like the last. So meeting him where he is, understanding what he presented to us, 12 out of 10, period. So let's get into the show. Starting with the outfits. Kendrick Lamar's outfit. He had on leather, keeping in theme with what he's on right now, GNX. He had his all black leather on the album cover, but on Super Bowl day, he got a custom jacket created. Everybody's calling it the Gloria jacket because that was what was big on the front. I thought that was intentional. Gloria is his pen. If you don't know, you need to listen to GNX. But the pen is at the forefront because we wouldn't be performing. And he said that in one of the interviews. At the point of this time to get in the booth and record it, I've already written it, so the lyrics are there. I just got to perform it now, you know? So pen first, Gloria. But other parts of the jacket had just all the things. He had Grand National. He had Peekaboo. He had wop on there. He had I Deserve It All on there. He just had different parts of GNX, different parts of this era. His hat had 5+5 on it. So his outfit was
Custom.
Very custom, very recent nostalgia going on right there. It was just everything he has going on at the moment, and I loved it. His jacket was blue and red. Throughout his career, he's pretty much embraced those two colors the most. You know what city he's from, so you know why.
Also, is that a double entendre?
Yeah.
Because it's America too.
Right. So then we get into his outfit, and then SZA's outfit was red. Serena's was blue. The background dancers, red, white, and blue. So, of course, that was a statement.
So this piece here is probably like the meat for what I have to present for this video. It's like, yes, we see the red, we see the white, we see the blue, and we also see it on black bodies. And that, I feel like, is the message. We
built America.
We built America. We are American. Like, tired of having the conversation, tired of being treated like an other, tired very much of the double, like, it's just like a twisted, I keep calling it that I'm coming into the realization and just like really angry about it right now, about our country just being built off of smoke and mirrors. It's the narrative that's being told now. It's all smoke and mirrors. Like, so much stuff that we feel like is law is because somebody said it's supposed to be like that and that somebody was not for us. I am tired of the black-white conversation. Tired of it. That's one of the first things that we learned freshman year, Clark Atlanta. We in our world history class, and our professor breaking down to us, shout out to Garrison Harrison, that black-white is a construct birthed out of hate. We're like, huh? I mean, we've been calling ourselves black our whole lives. Why you call yourself black? Because white people created a thing.
Just saying, there's something to be said about going to HBCU.
You need to go.
If you black and
Go.
you are watching this and you have not yet pursued college, if you are going to, go to a HBCU. It's something to be
Think
said.
about it.
You just gonna learn different.
And if you want to go to the best one, holler at your girl. But yeah, she breaking that down to us day one class, and it's like, what do you mean that black and white is birthed out of hate? It's a hate construct. What the freak is black? What the freak is white? We got ancestors who are from Africa. We ain't never seen it. I've never been to Africa. No, I heard another influencer. He was talking about trip he took out the country, and they asked him his race, and he said he was African American, and the lady responded to him, "Keep your problems in your own country." And he like, dang, pressure. But to her point, we don't even be knowing sometimes that stuff is a problem because it's been ingrained in our brains like you're other. I'm from here. I love being black. I love black culture. That's not the conversation that we're having. Even we got a man, I'm going to just paraphrase it and wrap it up very nicely like this. There was a conversation being had by a person in power who has a voice, a platform, who could influence a lot of people in the wrong way, saying that black people do not need the same vaccine schedule as white people. And I remember wanting to choke somebody because it's like, bro, how you gonna differentiate between who is black? You can't look at skin color and decide, oh yeah, they're black and they're not. It's people all over this world who got darker skin. We're American, bro. Like, it's people all over this world. Egypt, we could say Africa, but we can also say Australia. We could say Great Britain. What are you talking about? Black people don't need the same vaccination schedule as white people. What is white? What are we talking about? And that right there is what I feel like I need to make sure that that's clear. That language was created in times of slavery to make a difference between what was good and acceptable and what was not.
Right.
Period. And we kind of touched on this in a different video. It ain't out yet, but it's coming. About
we
how
say that every
time, but that video got to go.
It ain't out. No, that's gonna be the
same
10th video.
It's the same video that we said about before. But we just talked about how somebody that I had a relationship with in college was saying that his mom ended up being a part of the civil rights movement because she came from Jamaica in a time where we were fighting back against Jim Crow laws. Well, it was the civil rights movement. It was that time. And she kind of was coming in blindsided because she didn't know what in the world was going on with us, but it affected her because her skin was dark. She's not from here. She didn't know. Point is, black, white, made up by somebody who wanted to other us so that we would stay beneath them. It's not a race. We made it a great thing. We made being black a great thing because we keep taking what we've been given and making it work. And Kendrick's message on that stage was that we American. We do what we do, how we do it. We make it look good. You want to be like us. We do things a certain way. But we from here. Like, this our country too. It's our home too. There's nowhere for you to ship us to.
Not only is black history is American history.
It just is.
PBP. Point blank period. But we built America.
It
just wouldn't be here.
America.
Those black men constructing the flag, building the flag.
Building them. Come on.
It just wouldn't.
I mean, and it's so sad too, because we listened to a couple of people who was responding after the fact. I know of at least 2 white men that didn't get it. But point is, bruh, we built America. We are American. So sick of seeing or having to have the conversation. And y'all think we don't need DEI, but okay.
Shooter has been kind of saying it for the past 6 months because since I've been so engrossed in the beef, because usually, and Shooter will tell you, I have a playlist called Just Jaimsss. And before the beef, that's what I listen to. But that playlist has everything from freaking Disney songs to pop music, a little country music, rock music, hip-hop.
Everything she loved.
Everything. And I listen to everything all together.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, I've just been on hip-hop since March.
Mm-hmm.
For obvious reasons. And so because of that, Shooter say a little something and I just say a little
She been doing
line.
it all year.
I say a little line and it be a Kendrick line. And Shooter had been saying it's a Kendrick line for everything. And it really is. But why is it? Because he be speaking truth.
He called himself prophetic.
And when I say he's prophetic, I'm not speaking on a biblical level because, I mean, you know, he's a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
When I say he's prophetic, I mean, he studies the Bible clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the songs, you'll get that. He knows the word.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe everybody sounds a little prophetic when you know the truth. But he says things that just be coming to pass a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So he be saying he prophetic, and maybe he be saying it because he know what he's saying is true, and he know that the other side don't move in truth. And I'll leave that there. But so with the Super Bowl, we did a predictions video. What will we write about? Let me tell you what Shoota was right about.
Was I right about something?
Okay, Shoota said 2 things that she was majorly right about.
Okay.
The first one, Shoota said that he was going to make a statement about what's going on in the world today. And I was like, well, he has done that so many times, and it has gotten frowned on, and he came to the conclusion that he wasn't our savior. So maybe he's done with us. He's not doing that. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was going to be pro-black, but not necessarily like shining the light on America, what y'all got going on, you know? But it was. And then Shoota also said that the GNX was going to be on stage.
I did say that. That GNX was there before that show started, and I was going crazy. The GNX is at the Super Bowl. Now, I do want to shout Shoota out here because she was thinking, after we heard that, you know, the conversation that Kendrick was having about being in the prison, that some of her stuff was not going to be on there. And while I'm wrong
after that.
Most of your stuff was on your wish list, right?
I got the wish list right here.
She called out so
Let
many.
me add this right
the
here.
biggest one that I feel like was like the dopest was like she felt like the teaser for GNX should have been the opener, and it was the opener.
Okay, y'all. So if you know, if you watched that last video, if you didn't, you still need to watch it. But on the last video, I said it would be fire if he came out with the we're gonna need him in love. And he did exactly that. We go body for body or something.
No, notice I picked my mic up because every time she do that, she start right.
Because I want to come up. And not only did he do that, but he gave us more bars. He ended it at a later point in the song. So it's a song, y'all. So we gonna get that. We didn't get it when I thought we was gonna get it, which was that night. But we're clearly gonna get. It's a song. Mm-hmm. It's not just a snippet. Like when he did the snippet for, it was another album. He did a snippet in a music video. We still ain't got that. It's been 10 years, but we did get Squabble Up, and I feel like we're gonna get this because it's clearly a song. I did say he was gonna do Humble. Euphoria. Okay, nobody pegged Euphoria, y'all. Euphoria, come on now.
She was geeked by that.
When he did it, that's my favorite song from the battle. It goes Euphoria, 616 in LA, Not Like Us, Meet the Grams. That's my list of favorites in order. Euphoria, like when I tell you, when Euphoria came out, y'all, I listened to it 3 times a day. I know every single word, every single ad lib, every single breath.
We done watched the pop out today 2 times.
Since we recorded today, let me get into the vibes, okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, he did Euphoria, and that was great. We will write about TV Off, All the Stars, and Not Like Us.
Well, your wish list though did also have Luther.
Yeah, I was saying that I want him to play Luther, but I really didn't feel like he was going, we going out, do it real slow. But he did it. Mm-hmm. I thought he might have went 30 for 30. I felt like 30 for 30 was a little more. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he went Luther with it. So I got 6 right, y'all. Should have got the theme right. He had the GNX on the stage. 50 people coming out of it.
I had no idea how that was happening.
The man, that wasn't his car. So the man who constructed it, he had tweeted January 21st, like, wish I could tweet about the project I did, but I gotta hold my breath till next month. The whole world gonna see it. Then when the Super Bowl came out, he told us, like, he built the car.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I was wondering where them folk were coming out of.
So the car must have been huge. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So also about the outfits, I saw a lot of people saying that he had on an A minor chain. Not quite.
Who would rep that?
If you know.
Who would rep that though? I didn't know. I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't know it was what it is, but who would literally rep A minor?
If you know, you know, the PG Lane logo, when they type their font in their official statements, the A is slanted. So they kind of base their stuff off of the slanted A. So when I saw the A, I was like, that's a PG Lane chain. And it was.
I will tell y'all that I thought it was Amazon. Because he got a deal or something with Amazon, correct?
I don't know.
It's some kind of partnership he got with Amazon because they got the pop out. I thought you told me that.
They did, and they also did his last tour. They filmed it.
Yeah, so I thought it was an Amazon A.
Yeah.
But it's all good. PG Lane down.
Also with the red, white, and blue, of course, where he's from. That's a whole thing. The layout with the show. Some people were saying that it was Squid Games at first. I kind of said that at first.
Yeah.
But then I said, you know what? I don't think he would do Squid Games when we talking about America. Then I was thinking, I mean, the shapes. I play Sims. I used to play Sims. I really don't play anything anymore. But I used to love me some Sims. And I literally, during COVID, actually, I bought a PlayStation 4 just so I could play Sims, y'all. So I know the controller pretty well. So I was like, those are the shapes on the PlayStation controller. And they are. Of course, Uncle Sam, Samuel L. Jackson was there. Introduced himself as Uncle Sam. And he introduced the show as The Great American Game. The PlayStation controller. I thought the way that Kendrick was kind of maneuvering throughout the different buttons on the controller was kind of sort of a double entendre on maneuvering through the game. You can either play the game or kind of get a one-up and control the controller. And so I thought that was a thing. Another part of the setup, he had different people in different parts of it. He had the light poles up. He had people chilling on the light poles. The part where he did Shootas song, Man at the Garden. It was a hyphy movement moment. His guest, he had Samuel L. Jackson.
Wonderful.
He was Uncle Sam. Now, when he introduced himself as Uncle Sam, I immediately started thinking about To Pimp a Butterfly.
I saw a tweet that was saying like Uncle Sam or Samuel L. was like the perfect person for that. Pun on the name, but also if you ever seen Django.
I count 6 shots, nigga.
And also, Samuel L. Jackson went to Morehouse. He was an activist. My daddy just informed me that he was a pallbearer at Martin Luther King's funeral. So, one of them ones, point blank, period. But Uncle Sam, and when he did Teasing Not Like Us, he did the 40 Acres and a Mule. This is bigger than the music. All of these things made me think about To Pimp a Butterfly. So he says this line in 2 different songs, maybe 3, on To Pimp a Butterfly. One time he's talking about Uncle Sam. Another time he's talking about Lucy, as in the devil, Lucifer. But the line is, see, my name is Uncle Sam. I'm your dog. Mother... You can live at the mall. And also in this song, the man, maybe it's Uncle Sam, is saying, we should never gave. N-words, money, go back home. Money, go back home. So all of that, they shouldn't have never gave us money. Look at what we doing with it. But also go spend your money. Word to J. Cole. The white man laughing like, yeah, my N-word, get your money. Lucifer was encouraging Kendrick to just spend his money and just go crazy. Uncle Sam encouraging him to spend his money, go crazy, just be one of the few black men with money. Don't do nothing real with it. Live in bliss. Think you living a life, but you still don't see the bigger picture, right? That was a theme in To Pimp a Butterfly, and I thought it was definitely a theme in this show. Serena Williams was another guest. Not too much on her. I've been seeing all kind of stuff about how she's married to a white man and all this stuff. So what? The thing is, point blank, period, she is from Compton. Kendrick said from Alondra down to Central, but not speak on Serena, and he meant it. And he doubled down at the Super Bowl. So yeah, SZA, I love SZA. I really do. I love seeing her up there. I loved her having a moment. I love how committed Kendrick is to giving her her moment. I love how committed he is to giving her her shine. Because he has watched her grow. Because he believes in what she can do. I love that. I love when people are themselves, and it's like, I don't have to be this over there because I'm TDE. I'm from Compton. I'm not from Hollywood. I'm not from New York City, the place where hip hop was invented. I'm from Compton, and I'm doubling down on that. I'm with my people. I love that. So I just love all of that. I really do. Some of the quotes. So he told y'all the revolution will be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. Him saying the revolution will be televised was a response to revolution will not be televised. And y'all know with that, the theme of the revolution will not be televised was, you're not going to be able to sit on the couch, eat your popcorn, and watch change happen. You got to get up and make change happen. Like, what are you doing? And it was in response to when the revolution comes from the last poets. some quotes from that. When the revolution comes, some of us will probably catch it on TV with chicken hanging from our mouths. You'll know it's revolution because there won't be no commercials. So the response to that, the revolution will not be televised, is get up, we got to do something. And so Kendrick said the revolution will be televised. And what I think he was trying to say there was, we doing it and it's on TV. Like, we're not quiet about it. This is happening. And it's being televised because I'm here on the TV right now and you watching it, and I'm doing something that's bigger than the music. And parts of the revolution was televised at the Super Bowl. Another one, he said 40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than the music. After the American Civil War, some black families were promised 40 acres and a mule. So long story short, those freed families post-Civil War were promised 40 acres and a mule. Kendrick often talks about that promise when he is talking about change in America. But yeah, so he often talks about that promise when he is talking about change in America. He mentions it a lot on To Pimp a Butterfly, but also other projects. He keeps mentioning it because where is it? Like, we never got the 40 acres and a mule. It's bigger than the music.
Because he was doing all of this to the Not Like Us beat. Can I say this now?
Go ahead.
He was doing all of this to his teaser for Not Like Us, which he ended up performing. But I'm also very over the narrative. Oh, he used his 13 minutes to make it about he who must not be named. We're finna call this man Baltimore at this point. I disagree. This was not about Aubrey. This is not about him. The song itself is bigger than that one man. And I'm sticking to that narrative. We mentioned it on the last, I think it was the last episode too, when we were talking about whether or not he would do Not Like Us. He did an interview with SZA about what Not Like Us meant to him. His response to her was, Not Like Us is the energy of who I am, the type of man I represent. And if you identify with that man, and she was like, break the man down. So he like, this man has morals, he has values, he believes in something, he stands on something, he's not pandering. He's a man who can recognize his mistakes and not be afraid to share the mistakes, and can dig deep down into fear-based ideologies or experiences to be able to express them without feeling like he's less of a man. And I read that last part fast, but that's heavy. But to back up to the pandering part, to pander is to gratify or indulge an immoral or distasteful desire, need, or habit, or a person with such a desire. Bringing that back to the overarching theme too. Uncle Sam, who was Samuel L. Jackson, who played an Uncle Tom type character in Django, was telling this man throughout the experience, you gotta play the game, you gotta play the game, you gotta play the game. What? Play the game? Play the game? Excuse me? That's saying that I need to pander. That's saying that I need to be one of those people who searches or seeks to keep things settled. I don't want to start a revolution. I definitely don't want to start a riot. I just gotta keep it, play it safe. Give you an experience that I just dealt with like a week ago. Kyle Shooter all kinds of mad about it because folks really do be thinking that we need to play the game. I had to make a run to the dealership, and I told y'all I live in a very small country city. The area surrounding this city more or less about the same. They on the same wavelength. And there was a guy in there, and maybe I was there for they're witnessing this conversation for this conversation because the Lord wastes nothing. But there was a guy in there, older white man, leather floppy hat, got the spectacles on, got on like just, it looked like work clothes, like field clothes, whatever. I'm talking to a black guy when I walk into the service area, and I'm listening to this man try to explain to this black man, talking about how we didn't need Dr. King. Everything that you got it for yourself. Dr. King didn't do that for you, this and that, and the third, da, da, da. And he talking about, we didn't need him to be, and he wasn't calling him Dr. King, naturally. Martin Luther King is what he was saying. Talking about how Dr. King ain't never done a bit of work in his life, talking about the reverend in front of his name lets him know that he ain't never done no real work. And I'm just listening like, are we serious? So he gets to the point of saying that the civil rights movement didn't need him. Civil rights, this is the man now. Civil rights is already happening. This is how he's saying it. Civil rights was already happening. But it just takes time for things. So it just takes time for change to happen like that. How much time should we have spent? How long would you have liked for us to wait? The streets was already crimson. Bodies already hanging. Like, how you wanted us to play the game. You wanted us to wait the allotted time until y'all felt like, okay, let's give them a little bit more. let's give them a little bit more. You wanted us to play the game. And I left that place because, again, pandering, gratifying or indulgent. I didn't choose to argue that day, not with nobody who got a crimson neck.
And
I chose to leave because you ain't finna keep talking like that in front of me. I looked at the guy and his responses was, I understand what you're saying. No, I don't. I don't understand what you're saying. And I got myself up and I got out of there. I'm not playing the game. I'm not playing the game. Playing Not Like Us was not playing the game. There was a lot of controversy about the song. It's a lot going on around the song right now with the lawsuit and all these things. He's not playing the game. I'm doing this on my own terms. I'm starting a revolution. I'm starting a riot, whatever you want to call it. This Kendrick Lamar. And it was symbolic for so much. We can't be out here caught up playing no darn game. You got to stand there and listen to folks spit and spewing foolishness. That wasn't a fight I could win that day. There's no reason for that I should have sat in there and tried to defend what I know that man was not going to get. But what I didn't do was sit there and listen to him spit out idiocy. Had to get up and get out of there. We're not playing the game, bro. And I'm proud of that man for playing Not Like Us. I respect it. And I love that it was so on time. The symbolism heavy. Super strong.
Speaking on the game, I'll just add this little plug. Tupac often talked about the game, and when he talked about the game, he was talking about the game of life. And his sentiments were, at some point, they're gonna shut the game down. So I got to get out here and make my moves. You know what I'm saying? And Kendrick being a student of Tupac, and even listening back to Pimp a Butterfly this week, and just listening to his reverence for Tupac and his thoughts and all of that stuff, it just made me think. And Tupac says that the next time the revolution happens, it's not just gonna be protests, it might be bloodshed. And of course nobody wants to see that. You know what, I'm not getting too deep into it. Shootas said a lot, but speaking about the game, I do think that was kind of it has multiple meanings. Talking about the American game, Kendrick not playing that game. He is playing this one, though, and he is doing it in front of y'all faces. Even when you look at different reactions to it, some people think he was being very patriotic. Okay, go with that.
That's it.
But
okay.
At the very end of the day, he said what needed to be said. He said that there was a cultural divide. A line has been drawn. There are visuals in the show. The American flag is cut down the center and he's in the center of it. I think that is representing a cultural divide. You're either here or you're there. You're either with us or you're against us. It's so much bigger than the music. It's like, I've tried my best to stay away from commentary on the halftime show because a lot of times when I listen to other people speak about something, it gets entangled in my own thoughts. And I want to, now that we are content creators in our own right, I want my thoughts to be pure. But I have heard a few things, and it's like y'all are arguing setlist. Y'all arguing setlist. The songs that are being played when this man continues, not because he didn't just do it. He didn't just do it at the Super Bowl. He did it at the Grammys. He did it at the BET Awards. He's done it on his albums. He's done it every time he opened his mouth to the public. He does it. But he continues to push the limit for us. And we're arguing setlist.
It's so minute. It's like it went over your head.
We arguing setlist.
And to make the setlist or that one particular song about another person, you're missing it. You're missing it.
I'm not going to get all political with it, but go read some stuff. Go educate yourself on what's happening in the world. And then if you really, because I'm a scholar by trade. I'm an intellectual at heart. I'm a scholar by trade, so I'm trained to read. And I read everything. I know what's happening. And when I read, because I'm a scholar, I read primary text. I don't base my opinions. I don't base my opinions off of news sources. The same way we broke down the lawsuits in videos 3 and 4, that's how I get my information. That's how I figure out what my thoughts are on different political issues. I go look at those executive orders. I go look at I want to read the text. Like I want to read the Constitution. I don't want the social studies book to tell me what the Constitution says. That's the type of person I am. And if you challenge yourself to become that type of person as well, and you really figure out what's really going on in this country right this second, I I just find it hard to believe that you're gonna care about the set list. I just feel like you would appreciate what he did up there because it's so bold. Like it's Martin Luther King bold. It's Malcolm X bold. We know the fates of those two individuals.
It really is. And that's heavy.
I mean, you continue to, we pray and we're going to keep doing it. We're going to
keep praying.
And I said I wasn't getting too deep, but it has that weight, y'all. It has that weight. That was the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Not no little stage. That wasn't, it was America's sport outside of baseball. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a big thing. And so go figure out what's happening in the world before you continue to argue set list. It's like I said earlier, to be a Kendrick fan is to meet him where he is in that moment, because the message is always greater than the music. The message is always greater than the music. When you listen to To Pimp a Butterfly, Shooter might be able to tell you she heard a few of the songs from To Pimp a Butterfly in the last 2 days. All of them are not really just bops that you just listen to. The song You, where he sound drunk like, you the reason my mama been leaving. You ain't just listening to that to listen to it, but you listen to the words. The message in To Pimp a Butterfly is greater than the hooks, the instrumentals, even though the instrumentals are great. It's greater than the music. Just like he said, 40 Acres and a Mule, this is bigger than the music. The message is what we're here for. And when you are really a person who cares about us,
skin folk,
you care about people who choose to take a platform that they're given for 13 minutes to not play their hits, but send a message. I heard someone say that he should have did Black of the Berry. I can understand it from the beginning, but at the beginning he also says, I'm the biggest hypocrite of 2015. If you continue listening, you'll know exactly what I mean. At the end of the song, he brings it back to, I feel all these ways about how these people doing us in this country, but I will still be in the hood and kill a man blacker than me based off of some petty stuff. I'm a hypocrite. Black of the Berry is talking to us. He checking us about what we got going on, and himself, because I heard him do an interview about kill a person blacker than him. He was saying in that interview, because people didn't like that he said that, because he says right before that something about Trayvon Martin. And so people didn't like that he said that. They thought he was being whatever. He did not like that people didn't like that he said that. And he was like, that's real.
When I say gang banging made me kill a nigga blacker than me, this is my life.
I be saying this stuff and I mean it, but I live this life. There are people who I'm speaking to in my music that I probably would see right now and want to do something to them because they did something to my homeboy who's not on this earth no more.
Somebody around the corner done did this to my partner. I still feel that hatred. I still feel that ill will to want it to do something.
I'm working through it every day.
When I say these things, it's therapeutic for me. It's making me remind I need to respect this man because he's a black man, not because of the color that he's wearing.
Yeah.
Black of the Berry is speaking to us, speaking to him.
I've done a lot to tear down my own community. So for you to not recognize that and see 100% flip, please learn it.
Another black household rule, keep family business. You keep family business tucked. And so he didn't use that stage to tell black people what they're doing wrong. He used it to speak to someone else. If they get it, they get it. He used that stage to bind us together.
Back to point, we mentioned this briefly with Beyonce. What is we outside dissing him for about a set list? You missed it if you're outside as a skin folk talking about that man like he disappointed you, like he let you down. No, he did not. And if you felt some type of way because you didn't hear your favorite song, say that junk to your mama, to your best friend. Do not get out here on the world's Twitter and on the world's threads or on your favorite talk show and say that junk because you missed it if you did that. If you're not celebrating the entire performance, you completely missed it. If you're not saying yes, amen, you freaking missed it. If you're giving anything critical that is not supportive, you need a whooping. My mama would whoop me for that. You outside talking bad about your family?
We so quick to tear down our leaders, man. That's scary to me.
You keep family business tucked, and that's exactly what he did because there's so many things he could say to y'all about y'all, but he kept it on them. And that's important. That was important to do on that stage, and he can continue to talk to y'all watching these different parties down in his music. And when he was saying it's bigger than the music, Not Like Us was bigger than Drake. Why? Because when he performed Not Like Us in this set, it's not that he's giving his opponent so much attention. Not Like Us is a whole ideal at this point, and appropriating is no longer acceptable. So it's not necessarily talking about the Drake of the thing, but talking about this whole idea. When he said that at the Grammys that rap music is more powerful than anything, I think I said it on one video, whether it is a funky beat or a Kardashian having cornrows, everybody takes from this culture. And whether you like it or not, Aubrey Graham is one of those. It's bigger than just dissing Drake. We're done playing the game.
Hey, and wake up and be a member.
The party has to die.
Be a player.
Cultural appropriation in all forms is over with. We're done with that.
Even you without a platform, I feel like everybody got a platform, to be honest. But you who don't get on YouTube, or you who don't make music, you are still, if you here, you got responsibility. You can choose to play the game. What you said, you either here or you're there. Get here. You gotta get here, friend. This was an amazing show.
Palm color supremacist America and Canadians who argue with their parents about tuna. All of that is a part of the thing that has to die, and all of that is a part of that game that we are no longer playing. So it's him singing that song and singing it boldly and singing the lines that nobody expected him to sing and calling the names nobody expected him to call. All of that is bigger than the names that he called. It's bigger than the names that he called. It's the fact that he did it on that stage. It is him literally being done. Not even done, because he's never done it. I'm not going to say Kendrick ever pandered. But he is clearly drawing the line in the sand. Like he said in that interview, at the point that you have kids, I really cannot stand to fake the funk with anybody. It's just something, if you did not appreciate it, it's just something to think about. Curtis King says all the time, those people who wear culture like a uniform, and then when they go home, they take it off and go to bed and just be the person who argue with their mama about tuna sandwiches. Some people, I don't wear the culture like a uniform. I live it, I breathe it. I was raised in it.
You don't get the luxury of taking it off, if you would call it a luxury.
I was raised in it. I have been on the wrong side of it in some situations. I was a teacher for 6 years and taught kids who are being brought up in this culture. It means something to me very deeply because it's me. It's who I am. Kendrick said that in the interview. I'm black. Like, I don't have to try to be black in my shows. I don't have to think about when to include blackness in I'm black. I'm black, y'all. Y'all ever watch Chris Rock CB4? I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. Yes, I'm black.
I'm not speaking to the community. I'm not speaking of the community. I am the community.
It comes with responsibility.
It comes with responsibility, and I have such a passion for our cause. Like, it really means something to me. So, and I get the feeling that it means something to Kendrick, too, because he keeps pushing the limit for us. So, yeah.
One of the things that I like, that I feel like, well, it's just the emphasis on one of the first points I was making about his interview. Being not like us is to say that he's a person also who can recognize his mistakes, not be afraid to share them, dig deep down into fear-based ideologies or experiences, express them without feeling like he's less of a man. That junk is so weighty. That is so weighty because rooted up under all of that is accountability. Number one, it's humanity. It's like he's aware of that responsibility and he ain't afraid of it. I think that's a big deal too. Like, I feel like this piece may be like for us, for the culture, with like saying what it means to be not like us. And it's an encourager, and it's also a challenge, because that's another piece of like what was so frustrating about those who argue with their mama about tuna sandwiches. Is like, you got caught up doing stuff you shouldn't be doing, but you got zero accountability. That's another frustration for colonizers. You got zero accountability. We never got the 40 acres and a mule. We never got the repercussions. Just because a certain person gets up and says black people built this country, you give a verbal affirmation without that check, without them reparations. What are you doing? Like, I would like for those outside of the culture to be accountable. I would like to challenge them to do that. And I think that that's a part of this too. And I mean, there are other conversations that have kind of come up from this that we can talk about on another episode. But accountability is a part of the thing that frustrates the fool out of me. Because say you was wrong. Say you was wrong. Say you messed it up. Say that there's a need to fix things. There's a need to say, dang, I apologize. How can I make it right? And I feel like it's double-headed. So it's one challenge to those outside of the culture, because we could maybe stop arguing about who is American if folks would be accountable. And then within the culture, it's just a challenge to be a human being. It's a challenge to be the person that you are and not be afraid of that person. Making mistakes don't make you less of an individual. Every man, woman, girl, boy, and girl needs to hear that.
Boy. It makes you human.
So that's why Not Like Us was on the stage. For all them reasons, bruh.
And I hated the word role model, but you can't run from it. Like I said, when I went out to these shows and I seen these kids saying, we live by your music and what you're talking about, that's something that you gotta accept. Knowing that and realizing that, it gotta have the balance. I can sit up here and talk slick all day on record, but who's gonna relate to it at the end of the day when they gotta go back to this crazy world and feel like they don't love themselves enough? Who gonna make them records? Nobody. I don't see it, I don't hear it. Me being who I am and not being so much fearful of what the world think or what the industry standards is, I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it, the way I've been doing it, regardless.
And this is Kendrick 10 years ago. He got on that I Had, so that's the Pimple Butterfly, whatever year that came out. At some point in life, he made the decision to accept his influence, to accept his position as a role model. He speaks often about the first person who came up to him and said, I was going to unalive myself, but your music like made me do something different. And he continued his musical journey with that in mind. Like, people listen to this stuff.
That's a big deal.
So it is a responsibility. I have always admired the fact that Kendrick carries it well. So, post Super Bowl, the impact. Initial reactions, I saw a lot of people not liking it. I saw a lot of people saying who would have been better and all of that stuff. This is the most watched anything. These are the words of Dave Free. The most watched anything in the history of American television. 133,500,000 views on broadcast day. That's on broadcast day, y'all. Now, of course, the NFL posted the video 2 days ago. It's at 46 million views. The last year's halftime show on the NFL site, because I know it's been posted other places, on the NFL site is at 33 million views. That's a year ago, y'all. In 2 days, Kendrick has surpassed last year's NFL. Everybody can say, because people have been saying, of course it has the most views because of this beef, because of Drake. Everybody was going to tune in. After the show happened, how many people went back? How many people went back? 46 million people.
46 million.
And it has surpassed last year's. That one has been up for a year.
It's crazy.
2 days. It's only up from here. It's going to be at 1 billion by the time the next Super Bowl comes.
Which is why he really don't need nobody to talk about it. The numbers is speaking.
He has gained 1 million followers since the Super Bowl. At least 1 million followers. I saw that Humble went double diamond since the Super Bowl, which is a song that was performed at the Super Bowl. SZA's numbers have skyrocketed since that performance. So what did he say? They tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. You can't fake influence, y'all. These numbers are speaking for themselves. Are these different platforms? The NFL? YouTube? Are they involved in any lawsuits talking about rigging anything? Or are these numbers what they are? Everything on YouTube is after the fact. These are the people who went back. And whether you loved it or hated it, you are talking about it. You've come across at least one article trying to tell you the deeper meanings of the show. The conversation is happening, and that is the start of a conversation.
Change.
Is the start of any kind of change. You got to sit down at some point and talk about something. So I said earlier, I'm a scholar by trade, a literateur by nature. So I love digging into lyrics. Rap music is one of my favorite forms of literature for all kinds of reasons, but mostly because the stories are usually raw. They are usually personal. And they usually mean something to the person who produced. Whenever Kendrick pops out, he gives me something to digest. Anytime. And I will always have the utmost respect for the artists of any kind. Artists, authors, poets, musicians, painters who think to make me think. Who take the time when they are creating to say, I want the listener, the reader, the viewer to think about this thing. Kendrick does that every time. Anytime he produces anything, he gives me something to digest. I said before the Super Bowl that it was going to be something I would have to watch more than once to get everything. And I'm sure this video hasn't covered everything. I'm not even going to get into why other artists are bigger than him, really. But the truth is, when you throw so many things at a wall, something's gonna stick. But isn't it so powerful when everything you throw at the wall sticks? everything Kendrick throw at the wall stick. He don't throw a million things at the wall. He don't have 50-11 albums. He don't drop every year. But every time he does, y'all are talking about it. And then 5 years go by, so you convince yourself that he's not popping and he needed a beef to make him relevant. Oversaturating the market is a thing. Contributing to the market mindfully is a thing. And I will take the latter any day. Fight me. Someone better squabble up. So that's our thoughts on the Super Bowl. Of course, I want to know your thoughts on the Super Bowl. Y'all, at the time of this video, Shooter just showed me we have 900 people who are in this community of ours. Okay.
What up, fam? Gang. Y'all, my kids be making me do my heart like this. I'm really one of these.
I am too, but I've been doing this lately too. So the moral of that story is share this video because we almost
like, comment, subscribe.
We almost at 1,000. So comment your thoughts. If you're not subscribed, you need to subscribe, but you also need to share this to the people who need to hear what we're talking about.
Send it to somebody black. Let me just put it out there.
Send it to somebody who needs to hear what we're talking about. Send it to anybody.
You can send it to anybody
because they need to hear it. And if they don't agree, okay.
It's all right.
Who cares?
Pick your battles. I was telling, it was a quote I heard on Jenny in Georgia. Love Jenny in Georgia. About a biracial girl with some identity issues. It's actually, that's very basic. It's a lot more I could say about the show. But her dad, black dad, gave a quote. And I'm about to mess it up. But his point was, when you black in America, you got to fight the fight. And you can pick your days to throw your dukes up, fight intellectually, fight with wisdom and just like seasoned knowledge of your experience. Or you can take a deep breath and get on out of there to live to fight another day. Just know who you are, bro. Pick your battles. Know what you're talking about. We love all things lit, honestly. It's not even so much, I don't feel like it's like we throwing blows. We really love this. We love doing this. But the hope is to enlighten you. The hope is to put somebody else on. So share this with somebody that need to be put on. It's for us. By us.
Fubu. With that being said, Shootas out.
Shooters out.
Calling Jimmy John's got them shooters gon' deliver.